This toolbox came from my Uncle Fred, and for years it's been the home base for just about every project I do in my shop. But things are changing. My dad is downsizing and reorganizing his shop, and he's passing his snap-on cabinets down to me. In return, Uncle Fred's toolbox is heading back to my dad's place, where to keep doing what it always has, holding tools and getting the job done. There's something about handing tools and toolboxes down through a family. They pick up grease, stains, and scratches, and stories along the way. My dad's had these snap-on cabinets for decades, and now they're coming back to my shop for the next chapter. So today I'm going to walk through the entire process from swapping out the old box to cleaning, restoring, organizing, and fully setting up a snap-on 3-stack toolbox system. Step 1 was clearing out the old box. Every socket, every wrench, every random Allen key that somehow migrated into the wrong drawer. Everything came out and got sorted into boxes. From there, I loaded up the old toolbox in my truck and brought it over to my dad's. Then it was time to get the snap-on cabinet loaded into the truck to bring back to my place. We ended up using this large aluminum ramp to get it into the bed. Without that ramp, the whole process would have been very touch and go since this rolling cab is pretty darn heavy. Upon arriving at my shop, I began unloading this beast from the bed. There's absolutely no way I could have unloaded this thing by myself without a hand forklift. This forklift has already paid for itself several times over, and this was just one of those moments where I was very glad that I had it. If you're frequently moving large shop equipment solo, do yourself a favor and invest in one of these or something like it. It makes the impossible very doable. Before a single tool went into this box, I wanted it cleaned from top to bottom. These cabinets have been well used for decades, so there was plenty of grime, grease, and residue to deal with. My cleaner of choice was Simple Green. I went through every single drawer and every surface, inside and out. For the old stickers on some of the drawers, the ones that labeled where the tools used to be stored, I hit those with acetone and then they came right off. Now, because this is a 3-piece stack with a bottom cabinet, a middle section, and then a top box, the areas where they met had picked up some decent scratches over the years when they were disconnected and moved. Left alone, those would eventually rust, so I masked off the areas around each scratch with some scrap material and then hit them with some spray paint. Once the cabinets are stacked and connected, you'll never see these spots, but I'll know that they are protected, and that's what matters. With everything clean, it's time to stack the cabinets up. I used the original hardware that came with the cabinets to bolt all 3 pieces together into one solid rolling unit. These roll around on some pretty large casters, and there's no issues with moving this heavy cabinet around my shop. Getting that top box up there was a little nerve-wracking, but it all came together without any major issues. You can put another win in the column for having that hand pallet stacker. One thing that needed attention right away was the gas struts on the top cabinet lid. The originals from Snap-on were completely shot and they had zero resistance and couldn't hold the lid up at all. On this top cab, if the lid is closed, the drawers are all locked, so this needed to be fixed right off the bat. I ordered a cheap set off of Amazon, and here's a lesson for you: do your research on the specs before you buy. The first set I got were 14-inch, 60-pound gas struts, which were way too strong for this application. They held the lid open just fine, but the lid literally would not close and stay closed. I returned those and picked up a set of 14-inch, 30-pound struts instead, and those were perfect. The lid opens smoothly and stays open on its own and closes without a fight. It's one of those small details that makes a big difference on how professional and functional this box feels day to day. Next up are the drawer liners, and with 29 drawers across the 3 cabinets, this was not a quick job. I found a toolbox liner material on Amazon that had great reviews, and after working with it, I can see why. It cuts cleanly, it has a nice feel, and it adds a solid layer of padding to each drawer. I'm hoping that it holds up well over time, but so far they feel just about right. I did think about going with a different color. Gray was tempting because it's a lighter color and it can contrast with the tools in a drawer, but honestly, when I looked at the gray against the red cabinets, I just didn't love it. So I stuck with the classic black on red combo, and I think that was the right call. Not only does it look clean, but it also gives me a small hint of nostalgia, because that is just the standard across the decades of a red tool cabinet with black lined drawers. 29 drawers, 29 liners, measured, cut, laid in. It was tedious, but it's the kind of detailed work that makes everything that comes next feel right. All right, now for the fun part, loading this thing up. And I'm starting where most of us reach the most, the sockets. These are going to be one of the large middle drawers because I have a lot of sockets, and it's arguably the most frequently accessed drawer in the toolbox. To organize them, I'm going to be using socket bosses made by ERNST. I picked up 2, one for my SAE set and one for the metric. There are a couple things that I really like about these socket bosses. First, you can twist each socket to lock it into the holder so that they don't move around or fall out, when you're opening and closing your drawers. Secondly, they come with labels, little stickers that you can put in each position, so you always know what size is going where. That means when a socket is missing, you know exactly which one it is and where it should come back to when you find it. One small thing I ran into was that my drawer was just barely too short to hold some of the larger, deep sockets standing upright. Not a big deal, I just laid those big ones down on their side and everything fits just fine. Next up is going to be the wrench drawer, second only to the sockets when it comes to how often I am reaching for them. For this, I used a metal wrench organizer from Reniteco that I found on Amazon. These did a great job laying out my SAE snap-on wrenches and my Craftsman metric set in clean ordered rows. You can see at a glance what you have and what you might be missing from the drawer. For the smaller wrenches in my set, I actually 3D printed a little organizer. It's a simple design, but it keeps those small ones from sliding around and getting lost under the bigger wrenches. If you've got a 3D printer, it's a great little print, and I'll put the link to that design down below. For the screwdrivers, I went with Toolbox Widgets. These are V-shaped cradles with magnets on the bottom. You set them in the drawer, the magnets hold them in place, and your screwdrivers sit securely in the V channel. It makes them easy to grab and easy to put back. This is a simple and effective method for holding screwdrivers, so no complaints here. From there, I started filling up the rest of the drawers. Hammers, Allen wrenches, pipe wrenches, pliers, and all the other miscellaneous tools that make a shop run. Now, before I do a full recap of where everything ended up, I wanted to call out two more things that I really think elevated this whole setup. First of all, we have Gridfinity. If you're into 3D printing and you haven't heard of Gridfinity, you need to look into it right away. It's an open source modular organization system. You print the grid base that lays flat in your drawer, and then you print bins and boxes that fall into those grids. I used Gridfinity with 28mm and 35mm tall bins to organize my punches and my Allen head wrenches, and they look awesome. The beauty of this system is its flexibility. If you don't like how something is laid out, just pull out the bins and rearrange them. There are also hundreds of community-designed Gridfinity inserts and holders available for download, so whatever you're trying to fit into your box, there's probably a design out there that someone has already made. It's a really smart and adaptable platform, and I think it's going to be a permanent part of how I organize going forward. Last thing I wanted to mention before the full tour is my labeling system. I found these magnetic label holders online. Typically, you would just write on them with a marker, but I went a different route. I used my label maker to print out clean, uniform labels and stuck those right onto the white face of each magnetic holder. The result is a labeling system that looks clean and professional, but is completely non-permanent. If I ever decide to reorganize or move the drawers around, which let's be honest will probably happen, I just need to slide the magnetic labels into their new home. No residue, no sticker removal, and no relabeling from scratch. All right, to wrap this up, I'm gonna go through all the drawers that I currently have organized, and I'm gonna show you all my plans for the last couple of drawers that I'm going to be doing in this box. Up here, I have my torque wrenches. A lot of space up here, but we basically just have the torque wrenches in the back. And this is actually an old Snap-on manual impact. You basically put this on what you're trying to get loose, and then you hammer on that top piece. Next up, we have a miscellaneous drawer. I have stuff in here like thread tape and blades and things like that. We have some locks. I have some miscellaneous air tools and gauges. Here we have our punches. I have this one organized with Gridfinity. These are all American-made punches and center punches. We have Dasco. We have some Snap-on ones in here, some Craftsman ones. We have some from this company called Grace, which are made in the United States. And yes, we have a nice assortment of punches. And then this one's empty. Okay, so over here, we'll go to the top of this top cabinet. We got an empty one. Don't know what I'm gonna put in there yet. Another empty one. As y'all can tell, I have a lot of space. My other tool cabinet was much smaller. So pretty much this entire top is empty. So I have a lot of space here to add a couple things, and I'll show y'all what I think I'll add, at least in one of these. Next, we have our wrenches organized. A full Snap-on set over here up to 1 inch. And then we have our metric set, which is Craftsman. We also have some cool old Vulcan American-made wrenches here that have a socket in that I thought were neat. And then lastly, on the small Craftsman wrenches, this one's actually 3D printed. There was a model online that I shrunk down to make it fit the dimensions of these little wrenches. So I was pretty happy with how that turned out. Over to the sockets. While these are really sweet, the one issue with them is that if you don't have a drawer that is tall enough, you'll have a couple of them like these in the back that I had to one off in the corner. So this is the SAE side. These are the metric guys. Then we just have some wrenches over here and some extensions and some torques and stuff like that. Here we have the Allen keys. I basically kept the ones that were labeled and I got rid of the ones that, you know, come with the IKEA furniture. We'll go side to side here. So this top drawer here, this is actually a pretty unique drawer to this cabinet. It's designed to act as kind of a makeshift workbench. So if you're dealing with stuff on these drawers, you can place some stuff here and lay it out or whatever. It's a very shallow drawer. In this one, I'm only putting measuring instruments, squares, stuff like that. All right, over here we have some miscellaneous drivers. These are just nut drivers, small screwdriver sets and the nut drivers. I may try to do something special here, but for now, that's working out pretty good. Then we have our screwdrivers. I have an old Snap-on set of screwdrivers here along with some Craftsman's. I may get some more of these and bring them all the way across so that the Craftsman's can have some stability in this box. Over to the pliers. This is a pretty underwhelming drawer. Most of my good pliers are with my electrical kit, so I don't have a ton of just spare pliers hanging out in here. I may have to remedy that. You know, one of the things about having a bigger toolbox is you end up buying more tools. This one's empty. This one has just some of these ratcheting drivers. Really like these. These are also from Vulcan. I don't use them all the time, but when I do use them, they are super handy. Let's see, we have some files and some sharpening stones. Nothing too crazy here. Let's see, we got an empty one. We got some hammers, some punches in the back, a hand riveter, and the bolt cutters. And these are for tiles. I'm working on an outdoor screen patio right now, and I needed these guys. Empty. We have our vice grips in this guy, just kind of stacked on top of each other. Not sure if there's a better way to do that. This one's empty. This bottom guy has some big old hole saws in it. We have some pipe wrenches and the big adjustable wrench. I actually end up using this guy all the time. There's just a surprising amount of large nuts to use that on. And the bottom here is just some pry bars. So that's the current setup of the full cabinet. Now I'll mention two future little projects I have going on here. If you look down here next to me, it is another double set of Snap-on cabinets. And this originally went in the middle of this set, but I found that that was just a little too tall. I would have had to get on a step to see this top. And what I'm gonna do with this other double set is I'm gonna come over here under my mini mill, and I'm actually gonna build a rack under this table. I'll weld it in, and then I'll just slide that guy in here, and that set of cabinets is going to be used for all my tooling for the mill and the lathe. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's going to look good when it's done, and it's a really good use of that middle cabinet. And before I let y'all go, the last main project I'm working on with this main cabinet, probably going to go here or in one of these drawers up here, is going to be a Gridfinity layout for drill bits and for taps. So I have a bunch of these taps, these drill taps, and also just a whole tap and die kit that I think I want to put in the cabinet, and I can set out a Gridfinity grid and make little bins for them and stuff like that. I actually did that in my old cabinet, and you can see here that I kind of have it still laid out similar. You know, we have all these drill bits. I'm basically going to reprint some of these boxes because they're too tall for the Snap-on cabinet, and I'm going to relocate all of these drill bits over to the Snap-on cabinet. In addition to the drill bits, I'll also add the taps. So while we're talking about cabinets, this is actually a Yukon cabinet here, a rolling cab, and I put this one under my main workbench. It gives me a ton of additional space for more stuff, which I don't have fully decked out yet, but I'm thinking this one is gonna have a lot of knife making specific things that I grab a lot at the workbench. The crazy thing about it is that when you have a good peg wall, a lot of your tools end up out of the cabinet and on the wall. So I have a bunch of empty space because of that. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that video and it gave you all some ideas on how to organize your own toolboxes in your shop. I'm excited to get this organized. You know, like I said earlier, I haven't organized my toolbox probably in 2 decades. It's pretty much stayed the same organization that I had back when I set it up as a teenager. So it's very nice to go through this and kind of make it nice and make it right in my eyes. So if y'all enjoyed that video, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side.